Hi guys, welcome to this week's lockdown lesson. I hope you're keeping well, keeping busy, positive during lockdown, and you've got plenty of things to do. Drumming is going to be on that list, I hope. Doing some practice, going over some of the things we've learnt before, which is important, do some revision. And that's what I'm doing. I tend to not have enough time during the day when I sit on a drum kit. There's a lot to practice, there's a lot you can do. Today we're going to basically go over the 16th note splits. But before I do that, you probably notice I've got a new drum kit here in a different room. I'm not in my usual studio at home. I sold that house, and while we wait to move into the new place, we're somewhere else just temporarily. So I was lucky that I've got a room, although it is a bit small, and I'm able to put a electric drum kit in this room and set up my software and things like that so I can do some videos and get some lessons out to you. But this drum kit is really cool, and if you guys haven't seen too many electric drum kits before, of course we have electric drum kits at school, so you sort of know what they're about. This one is a pretty cool one, and it sounds amazing. I'm just getting used to it now because I just got it. And it's called a Roland V drum. All right, you can look them up. But it's a TD27. That's the model number. It's really cool. It has some great sounds, and you can sort of use different software if you're that way inclined and you know about computers a bit, and you can trigger different sounds on the drums to make them sound just how you like them. So it's pretty cool, and I'll play some stuff on it today so you can hear what it's like. Alright, so I'm set up. I hope you are. And as I said before, we're going to look at all the 16th note splits that we've done already, because there is another aspect of playing 16th note splits where I touched on it last lesson, and that was to link the two 16th note splits we did together. This time let's try linking 4 together in a certain way. All right, you might go and link the first one we did to the second one we did to the third one to the fourth one. That's certainly a way you could do it, just to start with. You could mix it up. You could go, I want to start with the fourth one and then do the second one and then do the first one and do the third one and see what that sounds like. So I'm challenging you this week, all right, to make 4. Let's say we make 4 different ones that you want to play, different combinations, and practice them over and over and over again. And I'd love for you to maybe pick the favorite one that you like the best and the one that you've practiced the most maybe, and send it to me somehow. You can email it. You might be able to post it on my Facebook at my drum Facebook account, Jim Nash Drums, or put it on an Instagram account and tag me in it, or a YouTube account, any of those sort of social media things. Or you could just get your mum or dad to send me a text message with it. All right, but it'd be great to see some progress. That's why we're doing it. All right, so I've got a couple of examples here. We've got all our 16th note splits. I'm going to link number 2 to number 1 to number 3 to number 4. All right, so let's go over them just so you know what's happening. Number 2 is 1 and up. All right, so we had the rest or the space in the second 16th note area, right? Now, that was my number 1, but that was actually number 2. The second one we actually learned. So I've put that one first. Now my number 2 is going to be the first one that we learnt, and that was 1 E and A, where we let the last one have a little space. Then my third one is actually number 3, which was 1 E and A. Okay, and the fourth one was the fourth one, which was 1 E and A. All right, so they're my 4 16th note splits, but in that order that I want to play, just to see what that sounds like. Okay, I'm going to just repeat that over and over again, but I'm going to link them all together. So that's the idea. Now, if you're still not quite sure of all of these 16th note splits and how they work, you got to go and do some revision. Go back to the very first lesson I talked about the 16th note split, and just go through all of the lockdown lessons from the 16th note split series. Okay, they're all up there in that special area for you guys. You can access them. All right, so I'm going to go do this really slowly. I'll look at the page that I've written it up there so I know what I'm doing, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. I'm going to just mute my vocal for a minute because it'll sound better for you guys. All right, so you can see that I played it a couple of times in a row, and I'm just fresh airing those spaces. All right, so I'm keeping the flow going in single stroke formation. All right, that's how we're going to develop this nice and relaxed with the flow that we want, which is going to create you to become relaxed and try to go a little bit quicker, right? So it'll be easier to do that. That's the whole point of resting like I just did, like fresh air shots. Okay, so we're going to do it again. I want to play it a little bit, and then when I start feeling a bit more comfortable, I'm going to increase the tempo. All right, here we go. There you have it. Just checking on my levels there. It's a bit different, so it'll take me a little while to get used to this room and how I'm recording it, but that's cool. All right, so there you saw the tempo increase a little bit, and you were able to sort of get a bit of an idea of the rhythm. It starts to sound pretty good. You go, oh yeah, I get the picture now, right? So the more you do it slowly, the easier it'll be for you to discover that 4-bar or that 4, part section. All right, and it'll become more autonomous. Okay, a little bit more automatic instead of thinking about it too much. But it takes a bit of practice, so the challenge is up to you. So, like I said in the other videos, you can count, which if you're still not quite sure of how it's, supposed to sound, make sure you do your counting. So it would sound like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So you can tell when I count that, it's definitely easier, especially if you're not quite sure at the start. And go slow. So counting, go slow, and read. Those are the 3 principles that you really need to make sure you're doing. If you're always having an issue with something, making a mistake, it's one of those 3 things that is missing. Okay, and you have to make sure those 3 things are happening. It's going to give you the best chance of being able to accomplish what we're doing here. So now the other thing, which once you've sort of got a general idea of what's happening, what you want to do, and it's starting to sound okay, if you feel like you're still getting a bit lost, the other thing is to put a hi-hat or a bass drum or both on the downbeat. As I said last time, beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you're counting those ones, you can play something with your feet just to really anchor where the rhythm lies. Okay, you can sort of start to go, oh yeah, I sort of feel where it is. So let's do bass drum, see what that sounds like, and then I'll develop it a little quick and we'll go from there. Okay, we'll try again. Get my mic turned on. There we go. That was good. It really started to flow, and putting those, bass drum and hi-hat options in there really does help sort of identify where you're going. Now you can see I've developed it up a little bit now. I'm starting to get confident with this, the way it feels. You can then start to move around the drum kit. All right, and it's only really at that point that you start doing this. You want to be comfortable. It's amazing how you can all of a sudden feel completely uncomfortable when you do something and then you move it around the drum kit and you're like, oh my God, all of a sudden it feels completely different. All right, it's weird when that happens, but that's, your coordination sometimes can play games and it doesn't seem like it should be any different. You're just moving it around, but sometimes if it's not quite right, you haven't played it enough and you're not as confident as you would like, it can, throw you off a bit. So just take your time. I don't know where I'm going to play it now. I haven't even thought of anything. It'd be nice just to move around at random. So I'll try that. How about I try that? So this whole thing We're just going to move around at random. I'm not going to have a PDF or a notation for this. I'm just going to play it wherever it goes and see how it sounds. We'll start slow, maybe build it up. All right, here we go. How good was that? I really enjoyed that. You can see how all of a sudden you're starting to almost do a drum solo. But there's lots of little things in that, that you go, well, just that little portion there would be really cool as a drum fill or whatever. So you can see it just makes you move around the drum kit really easily, nice and flexible, and just all of a sudden starts to flow. There's that word again. And it's simple, really. When you sort of, pull it apart, it's just these simple rhythms that you just need to practice on their own first, and you can develop it just like I did. You don't have to be, the best drummer in the world. All right? So it's definitely something that you guys can achieve. Now, I was going to do another one for you, but I think that's pretty much covered it today. Let's see your ideas. All right, see you next week, and I'd love to see some of those ideas. Figure out a way. Your parents or grandparents can, send me those videos. Good luck with your practice, and have a great week. See you guys.